All right. According to the YouTubes, I should be live. As usual, promotional consideration paid for by the following: John K., Andrew C., Lady Quickblood 35, Moonbad, Bubba D., Craig B., Jimmy M., Drac Wizza, James C., Macy J., Tipsy Thomas, James B. Wollick, Jason G., Michael W., Christian M., Cornite Care Bear, Olinius Pius, Road Dog, King of Salt, Soul Blighter, Sage MC, and P. Pasquale. Tippers, After Dark, Prince.net, CelticMiniatures.com, and Randy the Axeman. How's everyone doing today? Let me get a sound check from the audience as we fade in here. And we'll bring up our map. We will bring up map. It's so good. All right, what's up, Bucky? I haven't seen you for a long time. Nice of you to drop by. So nice of you to drop by. I'm glad you're here. What's up, Hungar? How are you doing? And then the command bunker. All right, so Cornite, what is up? Oh yeah. We got a couple local gamers in the chat today, native to my area, my hood, my neck of the woods. So I thought today I would finish off my symposium on the Somme itself. I will get to some some other eras throughout history. I think I'd like to talk about Fort Pillow during the Civil War. I think that was one with Nathan Bedford Forrest involved, because if you've ever read the book Bust Hell Wide Open by Samuel Mitchum, it's a hell of a good book about, like, it's an action-packed biographical history of Nathan Bedford Forrest, and it's really good. I also suggest you check out some of Samuel Mitchum's books on the Desert Fox, or AKA Erwin Rommel. So I can definitely do that. I want to talk about Agincourt next, because it's also dealing in the same book. As for Napoleon, the Napoleonic Age, that's a lot of work, because I don't know much other than Waterloo, but I guess maybe I could put something together on Waterloo later and everything like that. But a while back, somebody mentioned the Somme, and they were like, well, how many people were killed? And I remembered I had the book, the The Face of Battle by John Keegan, and I had actually written a paper in college on the Somme that dealt with it specifically and everything. I can't remember what the paper was about. I'd have to go into one of my old hard drive files and dig it up to see if I can find it again and everything. You have a good day at work, Bucky. We'll see you when you get back. And we'll play some games. Hopefully by then, Warhammer The Old World is out. There's some new updates, but I'm not gonna really deal with that today. I think that'll probably be the subject matter for the next Holy Divers show, because there's a lot to get into. It's always good to hear from you. You can text me anytime. As you know, if you guys want to talk to me immediately, the best way to do that is to use Instagram, because sometimes I'm always busy. I'm always driving around. It's a lot easier for me to leave you a 1-minute text message response in recording on Instagram. So I hit the record button. I can give you my response, and it's a lot easier for me to do that rather than have to kind of because a lot of times I'm driving, so there's never a bad time to talk to me, but it's easier for me to just look down, see what you said, and give you a response right then and there. What's up, Weird World War II? How you doing today? So yeah, always welcome to come on the show, Bucky, when you get back. You too, Cornite. Whenever you want to come down, we'll get a game together. Anyway, just kind of giving this subject on the Somme the final goodbye today. I'm actually going to download all 3 of the streams, edit the 3 videos together, and put that out as a master on YouTube and everything. And then I have some other housekeeping that I got to take care of. Tomorrow I will be filming a game of fantasy and the first game in the Warhammer 40K campaign. And with that said, both of those videos will be showing up on, they will be showing up on Patreon. And so if you are one of the patrons, you can get early access to those videos, especially the Fantasy Battle Report, which is something that my channel is more known for, is fantasy related content and everything. So you can get early access to that. And then I believe that there is one battle report that is on Patreon that will not only be going to Rumble. There's one more that will be definitely going to Rumble. And then the third battle report that's up on the socials in Rumble now, that will actually cycle into YouTube. So, I mean, if you really want to support the channel, go over to Rumble. Help me grow over there because, YouTube they're still throttling me. I was actually surprised that they allowed me to have 10 subscribers back. Okay? I got 10 subscribers, of which they systematically removed 3 of them. So always click your bell icon and stuff like that. It could be worse. I have subscribers like poor old JVC Paints out there who's been very patient, just trying to get comments through to me. I think I might be region blocked in some countries. I don't know, but he lives in Japan, and he'll leave a message, and then like, if I'm not at my PC and I try to answer it on my phone, the message immediately gets deleted. Any comment that he leaves on any of my videos, because I think right now in Japan it's like 5 a.m. He can't just come into the streams. He has to get up at 5 a.m. and coffee and caffeinate and just to watch and everything. So he basically leaves a comment, because he's a really good viewer, a really patient viewer, and then the comment gets deleted. That's been the case with a couple of other viewers. So I mean, just throwing that out there. Other housekeeping. I've got to download StreamYards probably next weekend, and I'm going to try to do a short stream somewhere in between next week or the very week after, trying to figure out how StreamYards works, and then I can go on people's shows like Hungar in the audience or DM James, or bring people onto the show for chats and everything, because I think that's the wave of the future right there. There is that. I'm not trying to shuck my duties in that regard or blow anyone off. It's just that, I'm in the middle of my busy season. Even though we had a holiday this Monday, I still managed to work 2 11 and a quarter hour shifts at work, with 1 10 and a quarter. And then, I will say that Tuesday when I went back to work, I got life on easy mode. I only had to work 6 hours, which is good because I was able to hit up the banks, do the errands, because I only ever deal in cash when I pay bills and everything. So the very next Monday, when I get off of work, I always go to the credit union and I write a check for my groceries. And then I pay myself $100 cash that I carry with me. Sometimes $120, depending on $140, depending on whether or not I need to fill up both vehicles. So I got my grocery getter, which is basically I drive my truck to the grocery store, and that's about it. And then I've got my car, which I just take to work, because I didn't buy that truck of mine to crap up driving to work. So there's that. I'm glad. Thank you, Hungar, for following me on Rumble. As for streaming on Rumble, I'm going to wait just a little bit longer, simply because that's a whole other basket that I have to open up. And I did make a 120-second placeholder video. It's a little different than YouTube. You can't just go live on Rumble. So you have to make a placeholder video first, then you start. And I think I have to use StreamYards. I think OBS will let me stream to 2 different platforms. So yeah, definitely if you want to grow, you got to start streaming on Rumble. But I'm going to download another video today. I think it's last week's Hangout, and throw that on Rumble. So I am getting, the good news is about Rumble is I'm almost to 160 channel likes, and I have, what do you call it? I think I've almost gotten to 30 videos uploaded. So, there's that, little by little. I mean, this is, most people who are influencers do not have to work a normal 9 to 5. I sure as hell give it my all when I'm not working. But, so let's get into this. I wanted to talk briefly about this area right here near, where is it? Gammon Court. Don't tell me it's not on my map. It should be on my map. Gammon Court. Gammon Court. Is it Grand Court? No. Oh, it might not be on this. It might not be on this particular map. Let me double check here. Oh, it's near Beaumont-Hamel. Okay, so some of this fighting would be near, where is it? Where's Beaumont-Hamel? Okay, so we're a little further north on the Keegan map. This map does not have. So just above here is Gammon Court, and this is where the 46 London Scots would be fighting. Some of the and the territorials were kind of stationed all over. There was some territorials down here named at La Beauzier and stuff like that. So they were kind of intermittently dispersed. But just on that opening day, we're skipping right now to it's now 8 a.m. Artillery shifted past the regiments of the London Scots would find themselves isolated for a German counter barrage in no man's land and the inevitable counter attack. And more videos are always welcome. You and your brother should do a battle report. I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to plow through this, Hungar. What's up, Historical? What's up, Fox? So there's an inevitable counterattack coming because when this big, thick black line that's running through the middle, that's where the British are stationed, and this is the whole front of the British Fourth Army. And you know, so I'm going to see if I can find. I think I have a better map. I was just reading this. Now the UK government will actually have a lot of free resources that you can use on the Somme itself. I like this picture right here. This is very telling. This is the entryway to a German entrenchment. Look at that. Talk about 5-star accommodations. Look at the wood retaining wall, the staircase that goes all the way down into a concrete entrapment. They've even got drainage and everything. I mean, look, just you got some rifles there. That's just a very telling photograph as to why the barrage itself wouldn't work at all. Really, I mean, that is deep. You can see this man here. That I'm going to say where this man here is, right here. You see this guy? He's right there. Oh, whoops. Guy's right there where my mouse is. I'm going to say that's 1, 2, that's 3 guys deep. That's 15 feet deep. Maybe a little more. I mean, these guys are up here. I mean, this could very well be 25 feet deep from where these guys are up top down to this guy. That's quite a fall. That's quite a tumble. And, you know, I mean, the British trenches weren't like this. The British trenches were notorious for being, the British and the French trenches were notorious for being filthy, whereas the Germans, they had definitely settled in for the long haul because they were fighting a defensive war on the Western Front. So bombs and ammunition would become scarce, and the London Scots found themselves surrounded on 3 sides. This is other territorials fighting near La Beauzier. Let's see, there's one more map. Okay, so there's Gramoncourt. This is where the 46 would be. And there's Beaumont-Hamel. And of course, some of these, we go back to the original photo here. You know, some of these dots, these heavy dots, and text names that are emboldened have Germans in them. So let's see here. These counterattacks would also provide a classic example of what fighting was like in the trenches. Close combat would be very rare. Visibility would be very, very slim to nil, as sometimes 2 counter-opposing forces of Germans or English would get into the trenches and they just walk right past one another, look one another up and down and be like, they're our guys, and just keep moving. That's how bad the visibility was. And visibility does play a factor. Once the shells start going, the dust kicks up and there's smoke everywhere. The German counter barrage would keep supplies and reinforcements from crossing no man's land into the hands of the London Scots. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., 59 men with ammo and additional equipment would try to get across no man's land to the Scots. Only 3 of them would make it. By 2 p.m., 2 of the 4 company commanders were left, and the command fell on Captain Sparks. He and his men were fighting valiantly despite being steadily whittled away by German fire and counterattacks throughout the day. Some of these, sometimes they would be reinforced by refugees from other battalions, but never enough to really hold the line. By 4 p.m., Captain Sparks realizes that his tiny force was now under attack by 13 German infantry companies from 3 different regiments. A hopeless position to be in by about this time. So these guys up here near, let's just go up to this map again. Near Gamoncourt, I believe this is where they were at. I didn't have enough time to triple check this, you know. I mean, I can spend hours looking at maps and everything. Just to, you know, that's one fun part that I like about history is and military history is that, you know, I want to know precisely where people were. And, you know, there have been some times where I've been in the library, I would be studying, you know, writing a paper or something like that way back in the day. Just going through maps to find out precisely who was where, you know, and the geography of the battlefield thereof. And he sends back a message. Now, he has to send a runner back. There's no telecommunications. All of those lines were cut as we established in previous videos. And it gives 3 choices. Stay here and be killed, surrender, withdraw or withdraw in good order. The first 2 are distasteful to me. I shall adopt the latter, is what he said. So, you know, after and this is his call, he could probably get demoted for this. He could probably get in trouble for this. I don't think they'll try him for cowardice in the face of the enemy because they hung on until 4 p.m. And so using the ammo and rifles off of dead Germans, anything else that they could scrounge up, Sparks and 4 NCOs stayed behind to cover the retreat. Now that's some rocks drift British balls of steel stuff right there. 4 guys against an army right there, just holding it back. That really speaks to the kind of men that the UK used to breed back in the day. You know, now I think that the UK has kind of been reduced to I mean, just judging off of what the new 40K looks like, I think it's been reduced to a country of just fat 8th graders going, oh, you'll never believe who I ran into the other day. Who? I saw Lisa. Oh, that was hilarious. You know, they don't even, the words just sort of leave their mouths. They're like, who? They can't even talk anymore. They're too lazy to talk. So during the whole day, the London Scots, who had started with a number of 856 men through death and wounds, they would be reduced to 266 men. Now, I would like to talk about the dead and wounded and the commanders a little bit and just kind of, you know, why did things go so wrong opening D? Keegan cites a few things on page 262 of his book. Now, there are different copies out there. That's just the page that one of the things that he says is officers in the rear relying on runners. Slow means of communication. Officers relying on messages already 2 hours old about the progress of the fighting. So they've got nothing. So, you know, this is worse than MS-DOS and trying to log on to the internet with command prompt, all right? So the next thing he cites is 0 visibility. Once the soldiers of the BEF departed from their trenches, even with 2 brave observation airplanes flying 50 feet in range of small arms fire from the Germans, no definite information could be obtained. They had nothing to go off of. They couldn't even see the ground. You have two airplanes, and 50 feet is not that far, especially if you're just coasting by in a biplane or something like that, looking down, you know. And then you fly back real quick, and you have to report what you see, because I don't think they had radios on planes at that time, because this is before the age of wireless communications, you know. So you got guys flying above 50 feet, you still can't see anything, and you still have to return like a runner. You have to land, get out of your plane, maybe take a crap, maybe patch your leg up because somebody shot you through the thigh while you were flying around it, or they took a machine gun and downed one of the planes, you know. I mean, it doesn't say that happened, but, you know, that's putting yourself in harm's way right there. At 50 feet, with the speeds that those planes flew, you could probably easily tag them, but getting the driver inside, probably a harder target. And then Rawlinson and Haig, both 10 miles away, getting imprecise scraps of information, several hours old. Rawlinson, I believe I might have him up here. Let me just see if I've got him on Google still. Yeah, he was one of the British generals. He's a what do you call it? An empire general, basically. He did a lot of service in India and stuff like that. Just at first glance here, I don't know much about Rawlinson. I know a little bit more about Haig, and stuff like that. This is the Somme is basically Haig's baby. Reason for the Somme being is they had to relieve Verdun in some way, shape, or form. Another one I would really like to talk about is the Battle of Verdun. You know, that's definitely doable in the not too distant future. So. The imprecise scraps of information getting to them, several hours old. So you have two generals who should literally, you know, I literally think that they should have been brought within 2 miles of the front. Within 2 miles of the front, right at about 8 a.m. No later than that. They should have been closer. 10 miles away, when, you know, you probably have runners that have to go at least 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles, to get to some place where they can be driven to give a dispatch from some officer, from some colonel or lieutenant in the field to one of these guys, and then getting that guy back in the truck, hoping that he crosses into the trenches and doesn't get sniped, and then getting back all the way to re-deliver the message, if at all. You know, there's no 2 lines of communication, whereas the Germans, they actually had that, you know. They knew where you were. Many British, and then this is the other one, many British gunners whose fire, if properly directed, would have been effective in saving British lives. They could have moved these cannons, some of these cannons, closer, and directed fire on German positions where they were where the British, who in crossing, were taking fire in no man's land. So to quote one of the gunners, one of the officers of the Territorial Field Brigade wrote, "We had a delightful day with nothing to do. They all barrage orders had been prepared beforehand." So again, this goes back to the Somme being scripted and them not deviating from the script, and them not expecting any changes, which is a Clausewitz no-no at first contact with the enemy. So you know, just that alone could have saved a lot, you know, because you could have taken. I think the British had an equivalent, or they might have been using the 75 millimeter field gun that only took 3 guys to run. Don't quote me on that. You know, I'm not Mr. Expert. I know a lot about the First World War. I do know that the 75 millimeter cannon that the French were using was pretty efficient, and it was also one of those artillery pieces that if you had a horse or just 3 men, you could limber that gun into position to fire pretty quickly. And even that could have made, just from where the trenches are, that could have just put some pressure on La Beausoleil or Typeval, where the fighting was really fierce, enough to maybe keep some of the German heads down, or they could have used shrapnel ammo, which wasn't really effective in trench warfare at all. Personally, I lay the blame directly on Haig and Rawlinson. British officers at this time literally had an attitude about the Germans being no different than the Boers or the Fuzzy Wuzzies in the South Sudan. That's if you ever watch Dad's Army, they're always you got all these old guys during World War II who were not only veterans of the incident in the South Sudan, they were also veterans of World War I, and they're all like old geriatric, and it was like, well, even those Fuzzy Wuzzies with spears made us think twice. And they were always referring to the Fuzzy Wuzzies in the South Sudan. Let's see. And this is kind of like a product of the time, because again, Rawlinson was a field commander in the Empire. So if there were some Indians that were acting up, or an insurrection somewhere else in the Empire, you send a guy like Rawlinson in there to go and deal with it. Just like the war in the South Sudan. They kind of just like, they're no different than a bunch of Fuzzy Wuzzies. Get in there, lads, and mix it up with those rotten Germans. Whereas you compare the English officers to their French counterparts, they expected to take massive amounts of casualties. They did not write off the Germans, whereas the English, they did not expect to take massive casualties. They were not expecting this kind of trouble or stiff resistance the first day. They just said, we're going to have our men brush off out of the trenches. We're going to take all the German positions, and that's how it looks on paper. That's the best way to sum up the British command at the time. That's how it looks on paper. We're going to do A, B, and C, and if we have any time before tea, before high tea hour, we're going to take D as well. And again, this scripted artillery barrage, men over encumbered with equipment, didn't help, and then all of a sudden running into stiff resistance from the Germans. Very bad combination. So Geoffrey and Pétain, they just expected that sheeple were going to die, and they didn't really give a shit. Pétain being a little bit different. Geoffrey should have been relieved of command after 1915. He should not have been. He should have just been completely kicked out of the military by 1915. The fact that he was still around during 1916, is very telling. And again, you have to think about all of the generals that the French had were really, really old guys. If you live to be 60 in the Victorian, after the prime of your life was literally the Victorian era, you were pretty old in comparison with other commanders who were, let's see here, how old would Rawlinson have been? I'm going to get my calculator out. 1864? Damn. He only lived to be about 61 years. So the British commanders, the German commanders, huge age difference. They were all in their 50s, a little bit more spry, a little bit more able-bodied. The French commanders were just kind of like, Joffre was, he was kind of a big foodie, and like everything could literally wait until after I'm done eating lunch or breakfast. Other than that, I don't care. That was Joffre's approach. And that's cited by John Keegan in his the First World War book. Cyril Falls in the First World War also alludes to Joffre being a complete piece of garbage. So this is where I wanted to leave it. Official casualty figures, 21,000 dead. 21,000 guys who aren't going home to Little Mama Joe after that. 57,000 to 60,000 wounded. And then, this, at least by 1915, one other note that I made is that doctors could prevent gas gangrene at this time frame, which is something that could not be done at Waterloo, and definitely that's something that could not be done during the American Civil War. So, if you were able to get a comfortable wound, they always talk about the SIW. There's a lot of notes about the SIW, or the comfortable wound. There was an American volunteer on the Somme who literally went up on the parapet, got shot through the wrist, and says, well, I guess I'm done. It depends on which wrist. If you get shot through the wrist, I don't think you could shoulder your rifle, or, if you get shot through your left hand, you can't carry your rifle if you have to switch hands to pull yourself up, So he basically said, I've got mine, I'm off. And so, nothing, just getting a comfortable wound would be a blessing at that moment in time. But there were a lot of SIWs. Let me see here. He had a good footnote about the SIW that I just want to gloss over real quick. The will to combat. That's in the section, the will to combat. Modern medicine, however, has made a wound inflicted by enemy or by genuine accident the later at least 5% of all woundies between 1914 and 18, a very desirable passport off the battlefield. A comfortable wound, wrote Maurice Borat, was an act of God much to be welcomed. To them, a wound, he wrote, Hanbury Sparrow of his soldiers, no matter how slight, terminates all moral obligation to go on. Yeah, right there. He talks about the American getting up over the ladder. Private Martin was his name. As soon as I reached the top, I was shot through the wrist. He came straight back, and I've got mine, and he said, I'm off. There you go. So that's not funny, but this whole, it's got an asterisk next to it. SIW, self-inflicted wound, and that's on page 270 if any of you have been following along. 60,000 wounded, 21,000 killed. That's a complete disaster. Now, the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is the image that Ralph Partridge, an artillery guy who was turned into a stretcher bearer, basically, July 2nd to July 4th is how long that they had to sue for peace after this debacle to pick up the wounded and dead off of the field. The wounded, who could not be brought in, had crawled into shell holes, wrapped their waterproof sheets around them, taken out their Bibles, and died like that. Just let that hit you there. The wounded, who could not be brought in, crawled into shell holes, wrapped their waterproof sheets around them, taken out their Bibles, and died like that. And that's basically how the opening day goes. I'm sure there are other books that I can read and everything, but for the purposes of time, and I think this was a really fun diversion. I definitely want to do another series and everything like that. What's up, Shadow and Sun? You just missed the end of my symposium on the Somme, buddy. But you can always replay that. And again, I am going to edit all these videos together and put a master version of the Somme out there. It'll be a little bit more cleaned up and everything. But yeah, just thinking about that, it must have been, God, the men back then, of the men of the lost generation, and I think that's why they call them the lost generation, because after incidents like the Somme, Passchendaele, First Ypres, or Verdun, the what do you call it? You would have entire French villages, entire British towns, basically sapped of all their young men. And then let's say you're in an agricultural sector and you're one of those guys who isn't called up because we're like, well, we can't take all the town's young men. And you got women wagging their finger at you and I'm like, what do you want me to do? My job is to load these sacks of grain onto the truck. You guys can't physically lift these sacks of grain. I'm like the one, it's all me. I load trucks all day filled with sacks of grain, and you're in some kind of manual labor job. I'd really hate to be that guy. The guy who's not serving, the guy who's basically left behind to do manual labor in a very, necessary daily function so that things happen. I don't think they tell that guy's story. That's a good story I'd like to hear, or the story of the merchant marines of World War II, who, if you look into it, I believe they had the highest casualty rate out of anybody in the entire war, even higher than the U.S. Marine, for the U.S. at least. The U.S. merchant marine fleet really got hammered during the Second World War. So, they take out their Bibles and died. I admire their piety to a certain extent, You got to give it to Captain Sparks. He held on from basically 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. with Germans buzzing all over him and his ragtag band of London Scots like hornets the entire day, But let's get to the chat here. They had balls back then. Like I said in another video, in another live stream, I said guys my age are a far cry from being as manly as our grandfathers. Again, I think about my grandpa, 97 years old. He quit. He joined the Navy at age 17. His brother also joined the Navy. His brother just had his 100th birthday. So if you know somebody who's in that age bracket and has actually fought in the Second World War. My grandpa also re-enlisted during Korea. He also, I don't know what his function was in Korea. I know his ship was responsible for fresh water during the Second World War, and they don't like it up in them fuzzy wuzzies. I'm sure historical doppelganger. You being a Londonian guy, you've seen the Dad's Army sitcom. It's probably a primetime show right up there with Love Thy Neighbor, which is one of my favorite. But if I had to go on record now, I think I like Love Thy Neighbor a lot more than Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf is good, but Love Thy Neighbor is the equivalent of, All in the Family. It's just an even more racist version of All in the Family, and I don't even think that anything was that bad. You want to know who the real racist was back during that time frame of in any era. I'm going to say that Red Fox. He don't like Puerto Ricans. He don't like other black people. And he kind of has this arrogant stank on his nose about how he doesn't like white guys that much either. And his son Lamont would be like, Dad, how many times do I got to tell you? Julio's a good guy. You're just being prejudiced. He's like, I don't want any Puerto Ricans in this house. If you're going over to his house, don't drink the water. You'll get sick. Look at all these black guys up in here. There's enough of us here to film a Tarzan movie. You can't get enough of Red Fox, So that, I think, is going to close the day on the Psalm. So let me see here if I can get the camera to work. But let's see, a couple more. What's up, Mike Pence? You grew up on Dad's Army. You can watch that. You can watch Dad's Army for free on YouTube, at least. No commercials. Knock on wood there. Straight A student. Is he going to graduate from high school early, Shadow? That'll be pretty cool. Good on you. They were still using old World War II weaponry, the Sten gun, the little... all right, let's see here. We'll get rid of that. We'll go back into OBS. We will turn on the camera. We will deactivate the camera. We will now activate the camera. Now my hand is in the camera. Okay. Boom. We will get rid of the ever lovely Aka Atsuka here. You know, boom. All right. We will get off of display capture. Everything appears to be working with the camera. Give me a second here. So some of you can already see the Rucka Truck Squig Buggy that I'm doing in the background there. That's not the focus today. I was just getting this ready because this is tonight's focus when I finally settle in. You know, I've been really killing life lately, other than the fact that I gained 2 pounds. I guess I should not. You know what I'm blaming? I'm blaming licorice and high fructose corn syrup contained inside of brown Twizzlers. All right, so I had some brown Twizzlers, and I think I've had, don't quote me on this, 3 to 4 pieces a day. I'm blaming the licorice, and I'm also blaming a jar of preserves I got off my stepmother. And yeah, it was just apricot jam, and I'm just like, I got Tourette's of the elbow. I started eating I ate an entire jar of apricot jam. It happens, you know. I woke up today, weighed myself after taking a crap, and yeah, that's just, I feel ashamed. I eat because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat. So no, these guys are not the target for today, and of course he gets stuck to that, but I just wanted to get over here, so right now, we'll get these guys into focus. I've done up 4 Burner Boys, all right? They got their new bases. They've got their once-overs, so, you know, from a distance, they look pretty good. The reason why I got these 4 Burner Boys here is he's got to do something real quick. Just give me a second here. Few minor imperfections. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. 4 Burner Boys, and today I've got to paint up their Spanaboy. This guy's just a temporary Spanaboy, so I'm not going to, I'm just going to put, what do you call it, texture paint on his base and throw him in. I was thinking about using the rocket launcher guy for the Spanner Boy. I'm just not sure, you know, I mean, this is going to be one of those loose ends that I wrap up. You know, just another thing. And then the next project that I got to get to with my orcs is I've got to get all my tank busters onto 32 millimeter bases, and then I'm going to there's going to be a couple of sales on my eBay store. But if you guys if you guys are interested in anything that I might be selling in the future or something like that, just let me know on Instagram or something like that, because I do cycle out old models all the time. And then I'm gonna probably get to some of these Macedonians after I get rid of these garbage guys. I cycle out old miniatures. Let's see here. I've got how many more? I think I got X amount of pikemen left. It'll be 13 pikemen. I'm going to paint up 13. So I'm repainting 40 in total, and I'm selling 40 Macedonian phalangites because I won't need them anymore. You know, because I still haven't addressed the fact that the Ranger has left the state, and that's going to put a huge, let's just say that's a huge punch to my historical operations. I don't know when I'll be able to play another historical game for a long time. But if I do come back historically, I will come back with 2nd edition Hail Caesar. I will try that. So, what's up, Sergeant K? So basically, these two guys are going to get finished. I'm going to do their bases. I was able to paint. Just throw everything over there. Okay. I was able to paint this guy. He was kind of hard to build. I still don't think I got his tongue right or any. Like, I look in there, I don't think you can see in his mouth where I'm looking, but just a beast boss. You know, I noticed that one thing with 10th edition is that they are favoring the newer beast Snaga models, which I think is kind of BS because, number one, sure, you want us to buy the new orcs. All right, we will buy the new orcs if we feel like buying the new orcs, but don't make their rules better so that we buy the new orcs. And I think Games Workshop has a problem with this. I talked about it last week where I was shopping. It's like, oh, I spent $700 and only like 3 out of the 10 items that I bought are viable at any given time over the last 2 editions. You know, and so one of the things that I think that they could do with 10th and the way that it is just keep with the indexes and buff things up a little bit. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing the return of Orc Shooter Boys. You know, just give the Orc Shooter Boys AP -1 on their shooters. You know, there you go. Now you got a little bit of anti-infantry volley there. You know, I'm driving 2 trucks up there. Each shooter boy has 3 shots apiece. And then I think the shooter boys are rapid fire. Let me just double check. You know, there's before we get started here. Ranged weapons. The shooter. Oh yeah. Just okay. Instead of making them rapid fire 1, just give the shooters the 18 inches, 3 shots apiece, AP -1. You're already hitting on 5s, and then that you can at least say that that's some legitimate volume, you know, because that's if you minus the rocket launcher and the knob, that's 24. I don't even. Okay, yep, it's 8 guys. Yep, that's 24 shots. You know that you roll 24 d6. Let's see how many hits I get with that. You know. I like Google when you can just roll a bunch of dice. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10 hits. 11 hits out of that. That's a good roll. Oh, 13. You know that gives you something. Then you're wounding on 4s and 5s most of the time, maybe 6s, and you can actually bring stuff down. But I got that done this week. I also had to paint the gunner for this truck and everything. This is an older truck. I just turned some of the panels red and just brought it up to look up the snuff with the rest of the trucks. But we're going to get started. We're going to crack open and get started on these guys' bases. Let's get them for sure done. All right. So this guy needs some brown. We'll start off with brown. That's okay. Wrong brush. Wrong brush. I thought that was... There it is. I have got to get a new size too. Alright. So, yeah. We're just going to hurry up and paint his base. And the reason why I'm painting his base is because I think I just took a base and glued it off. I glued it on and that was it. So, good thing about leather brown from the Vallejo range is it's got a lot of pigment and it sticks. It sticks to whatever you touch it on. I don't think I want to blame Thai food on Fridays for my weight gain. I'm literally blaming a jar of jam. Homemade jam. I feel ashamed. This little homeboy here. That. Oh, we're in here. Oh, give me room. There we go. There we go. We're maintaining frame now. We get this closer. Move you here. Move that here. I'm discombobulated. I can't do it. I don't have it in me. But he's one of the tank buster models. Because, you know, you needed... that's another problem that Games Workshop has, is that if you buy tank busters, you only get 3 rocket launchers, 1 set of rocket pistols, and one of them has to carry the tank hammer. And that's 135 points. Meanwhile, Eradicators have a guaranteed damage output of 8 on their worst roll, because they get to re-roll to hit you, they get to re-roll to wound you, then they get to re-roll their damage output. Even though they got that, they're just kind of a one-trick pony. You know what they're gonna do. You know, I mean, at least they're 95 points, not 135. You know, I'm an orc. I'm still ballistic skill crap and everything. Can I at least have one unit that has 9 rocket launchers? Okay, we'll put the tank hammer on the knob. That'll be fun. Or we'll put the power claw on the knob. I won't take a tank hammer. I'll take 9 rocket launchers, please. And then I wouldn't even care if I hit on 5, so long as I could re-roll to hit, no matter what, against vehicles. And you get +1 to hit when you shoot at a Titanic vehicle, you know. Something like that, you know. So you hit on 4s. If it's Titanic, you get a re-roll to hit. And so you can actually really put that damage out there, because rockets are damage 3 each. You know, one thing I do hate is these going to a new edition. You just never know what you're gonna need, and so you kind of always just want to be ready. I was going to talk about the new Old World update, but I think I'll make that a separate video. I think I'll sit down and write some of that this afternoon after my Joe Biden nap. Let me get to your chat here. You guys have been a little bit quiet since we're talking World War I here. A little bit more. And nobody's noticed the new poster? I got Elvira right there where I can see her. She's right there now. I put Big Trouble up. Nobody's noticed that? Did you see my poster? I got Kurt Russell up. Me and him are gonna mull it out together when I'm down here on stream now. What's up, Evil Abe? One thing I will do is that. I just want to make sure all my bases are brown. Okay, done. Done. There's the chinks in the armor right there. Yeah, it's always hard when you can't prime the base. I mean, I guess I could prime the base and then glue them on, but then they don't really stick to it. You know, the paint chips off and then they fall off the base. So it's just a lot easier if you're going to rebase a bunch of guys. It's just put them on the 32 and then paint the 32 and do what you can to get the paint to stick. One thing you could do is you could take some wet Elmers and do it that way for a primer, and then ink it black and then paint it after the Elmer's dries, of course. Just as long as I'm not wasting any brown. Look at this little squig. Look at that squig mine. With the Rucka trucks, I opt for the buzzers. They have the buzzer squigs. They're all purple squigs. If you've been following me on Instagram, you would know that I finished up that unit of Squig Hog Boys and what do you call it? Mozrog, the guy on the Great White Squig. The guy on he's on Jaws basically. It's a way to bring Jaws into the game. There's always, you ever go back to 6th edition, they've always kind of put some movie references in some of the armies. Vampire counts especially, a lot of crap comes out of and that Dark Coach comes directly out of Dracula Has Risen from His Graves. There's a scene in that movie where what's her name? The hot redhead. I can't remember her name. I gotta look her up now. Hold on. Shit. I'm gonna take a second here. (1968). I actually got a review on that. I'll probably do a re-review of this, you know, at some point. What was her name? Barbara Ewing, the hot Xena, the hot redhead, where basically Barbara Ewing is chased through a forest by a dark coach, and they chase her down, and then she's brought to Dracula, and of course he feeds off of her for sustenance, turns her into a servant, and then ultimately ends up feeding off of her, and then he tells the priest, what's his name, to burn her when he's done with her. Let's see, what is it? That was Ewan Hooper played the priest. They didn't give that guy a name. That's a weird choice right there. And if you ever watched Carmilla with, what's his name? The one with the knockers. What's her name? Ooh. She was in Where Eagles Dare. Don't tell me. Never mind. Never mind. We'll just, I got Google open right here. Oh, the Karnstein trilogy. (1968). Carmilla. Okay, what was her name? No, that's not it. Now this is killing me. What? Oh, so, I remember now. Okay. Wrong movie. 1970, The Vampire Lovers. Piece of shit. Ingrid Pritt. Yeah. Yeah, that's a rated R movie if I ever saw it. You get to see Ingrid Pritt in that one. Peter Cushing and the Games Workshop deliberately stole from Carmilla. The Karstein family, you know, the von Karstein family, you know, you have to make that distinction there. But yeah, that's a good one with Peter Cushing. I recommend The Vampire Lovers. I actually own that one. And that was done by Roy Ward Baker. Excellent Hammer film there. Okay. What I ought to do is go on eBay and use my adult money just to buy a giant box of Hammer films. Ingrid Pritt. There we go. Get a better picture. put that in the feed. All right. Oh, come on. There it is. Boom. Okay, we'll go back into OBS here. We'll go back to display capture. You know, there she is, right there. You get a good look at her in that movie. Yeah. They don't make them like that anymore, do they? What do you guys think of Ingrid Pitt? Come on, you know? She definitely had... The girls, they had class back then. They definitely don't have, you know... I see Instagram videos of, like... I saw an Instagram reel because sometimes, like, a good way for me to wake up is just watch a couple of reels. You know, that gets me to focus on my screen. You know, because you should never, ever sleep with your phone in the same room as you. I always put my phone out away from me. It's always in a different room when I go to bed. Like, on Fridays, I'm always in bed by 10:45, no phone, and I'm asleep on my floor because, you know, I like that for my back and everything. I always sleep on 2 to 3 nights a week on my floor, flat on my back. But, you know, I mean, yeah, she's classy. I like that, you know? Why couldn't the vampires that, the female vampires made by Games Workshop look like her? No? Can't do that? Is that, are you asking too much? Am I asking too much? Open, you piece of crap. Oh. I think I'm asking too much. All right, let me catch up on chat here. Okay, Sergeant K said hi to you. Evil A, what's up, buddy? Homemade jam is worth the weight gain. Okay, that's okay, Mike. That's what you're supposed to follow along and play. Working on some Raven Guard for 30K, trying to do 2.0 speed paints. Is that what it says on the label now? Is 2.0 speed paints? I got to try the 2.0 speed paints. How do I know if it's 2.0? I sound like Steinbrenner. How do I know if it's 2.0? I've got calzones on the brain. Yeah, so you noticed the poster change. Yeah, I wonder how that's registering. It looks like it's registering okay. Yeah, I got that poster and I'm like, well, this has to go up. This has to go up somewhere, you know. So, you know, I've still got to finish decorating the room. I think I want to say about 4 more little posters and 1 more big poster, and then just past where all the posters are going to be, I'm going to line it with bookshelves for storage because I am out of storage. As a matter of fact, this weekend I have to beg my mom to store up some of my historical armies. I think I'm going to take all my pike and shot stuff, all of my Agincourt stuff up there, just all of my historical armies, a lot of my Lord of the Rings armies that I've never used. I got 2 fully painted Lord of the Rings armies and I never use them. I never use them. Nobody plays Lord of the Rings. They was a passion project. It was a passion project. I bet you I could sell that set for a lot of money, but I'm probably not gonna. It's, you know, I mean, for me, like, you know, there's some absolute auctions that I have to do. These ones are going to be smaller than the last ones, you know, but like, you know, just selling you know, that I could probably get a lot of money because I could count those figures as new. I painted them and they've done nothing but sit in the top drawer for years now, except for the what do you guys collected a bunch of the King Nazgul guy who's collected a bunch of dust. Let me see here. No, the other channel is dead for all intents and purposes. It's too much work to do a second channel. I'm just going to continue to do them here. Like October will be Monster Madness. I won't be doing any live streams. I will probably just do 3 to 4 movie reviews, and that'll be it for the month of October. I'll take it easy in October, and I just got to try to remember the old formula because, you know, I try to do too much, as I said, you know. What's up, Brian? How you doing today? What was the first bet? You guys are probably oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Watch the first one. Watched all three not long ago. Okay. Oh, the is it the is it Basket Case? Are you talking about the Basket Case trilogy? Everybody liked Ingrid Pitt. There we go. Historical doppelganger knows what's up. I'm just gonna start calling him the London Chad. Oh no. Zendaya is attractive. Please elaborate, Evil Abe. You watched The Vampire Lovers on the UK TV last night. Good for you, Rafe. Now that would be nice because from what I gather, that there's nothing to watch on TV in the UK except Top Gear and reruns of Doctor Who, of the various Doctor Who series. Vanessa Del Rio, Vampire. Let's take a look. I'll take a look. I'll look. I need to get a keyboard. Okay, all of these are exotic photos, so it's a good thing I'm not. Well, I'll just open up one real quick. Come on now. Oh God, my blur. I never turned on. I'm not going to manage my settings, so I'll move on. I'll take your word for it. All right. Let's. Oh, go back into OBS. Take that off capture. We'll go back to the paint. All right. All right. I'll take your word for it. Hello, Von Ketteringham. I'm going to give you 5 minutes of my time. Well, I appreciate the 5 minutes, boss. We just got done talking about the classic horror film, The Vampire Lovers, and what a dish Ingrid Pitt was. And that's kind of where we're at. It says 2.0 on the labels. Has the React. Yeah, I know about the React. I got some 1.0 right here. Yeah, I got Crusader Skin and Blood Red. I was just trying them out, and they do reactivate. I think I talked about that in a live stream about the reactivation. When I hit them with my... Because I use a lot of Army Painter Wash. As you guys know, Strong Tone's my go-to for a lot of things. Not all the time, but I'm going to say 99% of the time. Yeah, it reactivated all that speed paint. My my Lord of the Rings army is it's the entire box set that came out, the Battle of Pelennor Fields, plus an additional troll, an additional box of orcs, an additional box of cavalry. God, give me 1 second. There's a crap ton of guys. There's a showcase video. Hold on. Let me just get in here and I'll link the showcase video. If it's still up. If the video is still up. The Rohan Showcase. There's actually 2 of them. All right. Here. live stream chat. There you go. I'll just link this right here. Boom. That's one of the showcase videos. So you'll see everything that's in the Rohan army right there. I don't know what the the Car Stag trilogy is, boss. I'll have to watch that. Again, I'm a nerd and I've never seen Dune. It's one of my. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen. I haven't seen Phantasm. I'll watch Phantasm tonight, maybe. Strong tone's the only way to get it done, man. I can't live without my Washahall. Well, thank you, Mike. Thanks for being an early riser to watch old HD. What's up, Tyler? We just got done talking about The Vampire Lovers with Ingrid Pritt. That's about it. I should really get to painting. I haven't been doing a lot of painting. I'm an hour and 10 minutes in, and I keep getting ODD. I mean, what do you call it? ADD. I keep getting ADD. So let's hurry up and finish off these bases and get some grass on 5 of these models. And then I can actually paint the the 2 guys that I was supposed to paint. Get these burner boys out. Burner boys out. I finally got this to be a dry paint. It took forever. Used to come out so frickin' runny. This vomit brown that I use on the orc bases. But this will bring me up to 10 Burna Boys, and, well, I guess you get 8 Burna Boys because they force you to take a mech in the unit, and I always think that that's stupid. I wish I could just have 10 flamethrowers. I'd go buy 2 boxes today. If I could just have 10 flamethrowers in the unit, that would be an absolute good staple to have in the orc army. Matter of fact, I can use this for a base coat on something. We can build up his teeth with it. Oh, Caroline Monroe. All right. I didn't know she was one of your horror hosts. I would take that. That's something that I would legitimately watch. What is the show called? Can you tell, Wraith? Tell me what Caroline Monroe's up to. That's actually the next poster. I got a Caroline Monroe that I'm gonna put up there when I get a chance. She's going right up there. I want to kind of be surrounded in here. I got to put something right there, just behind the camera, but Caroline Monroe is definitely going up there. And then I haven't decided the next 2 posters, but there's going to be a couple more knickknacks up there. But I do like the sound of that. What's Caroline Monroe hosting Hammer horror movies? She was in Dracula 1972 AD. She was also in The Maniac with Joe Spinelli. That's a really good one. Maniac. I highly recommend that movie. I can't recommend that movie enough. Ooh, God, that's a good one. The Maniac with Joe Spinelli. That guy, what an actor he was. I think from like the mid 70s to the mid 80s, he had almost 100 credits. Then he, but he liked to party. He was a ladies' man. Women loved him for some reason. He just had that. There are some guys, no matter how ugly they are, like Dusty Rhodes is one of those guys, a professional wrestler. They just have some kind of game and they're able to like talk to women. And they were just, for whatever reason, Joe Spinelli and Dusty Rhodes, those two guys always able to punch above their weight when it came to getting girls. There's just some guys who are able to do that. Not a lot of guys, but some. Yeah, I'm going to grime up this guy's teeth here. I think I kind of, I kind of didn't get a good angle today, gentlemen. Do I have any tooth and gum? I don't have any gum. All right. What the hell have I done? Can't see that. All right. At least got to get this one guy done on stream real quick. All right. Let's get his flesh out. And Teethus. Teethus are next. Let's do his teeth. Yes, I remember that. That's I had watched The Maniac a long time ago, and then I rewatched it with Joe Bob. I never miss an episode of Joe Bob Briggs. There are some I haven't seen in season 1. I want to see him host Wolf Guy. You got Yayoi Watanabe in that. That's she's on a movie I reviewed called Josei Shujin Nana Hayaku Ichi Sasori, Female Prisoner 701, Scorpion. Really good movie starring Mako Kaji. I might actually this Halloween do the sequel to that. I am really torn between 3 Japanese films and 3 British films. I watched a horror movie not too long ago with Pat O'Brien from Star Trek, the guy who played O'Brien, the teleport dude. And he played this Irish guy, and he's like, "Call me daddy." It was called Unwelcomed. It's about leprechauns. And he has a white trash family, and I got to learn about different types of vintage white trash if you live in Ireland. I don't understand that. This mostly because one of the scenes involves some dude on a toilet dropping bombs, and then he just like found this is a box of worms. The movie is called Unwelcomed. I might have to do that one. So either 3 British films that are somewhat recent, starting with like Howl, Unwelcomed, and there's one more I can't think of it right now, but I really want to review Sweet Home, which is a Japanese movie that would later spawn Resident Evil, which had an NES game made on it, and that NES game spawned Resident Evil. And Female Prisoner 701, the sequel, I can't remember. It's not Beast Stable. It's a different one. It's Beast Stable's the 3rd movie. I'm not going to review Beast Stable, even though it's an okay movie to watch. Let's see. God, what is this? Now I got to go over here like an idiot. Jailhouse 41 is the name of the sequel. And then they did Beast Stable in when did they do Beast Stable? I think Beast Stable came out in '76, but Convict 41 is the one that I should review. Orcteethuses. The Cellar Club. All right. Oh, Alec Luda, what's up? I didn't say hi to you. Hope you're still here. All right, I'm gonna have to look that up. Maybe I can watch that in America. The Cellar Club. That's awesome. Okay. I like Darcy the Mail Girl. The problem I have with her is that she's pushing Halloween 3, and I'm like, hell no. Nobody wants to watch Halloween 3. I don't care how big your tits are. I'm with Joe Bob on this one. I don't want to watch Halloween 3. It doesn't count. All right? All right, let's do this guy's teeth. I actually need to paint this stream at some point. All right. Now I can actually finish his skin. And I don't think I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this color. The drier War Boss green. Mixed with just a dollop of moot green. Problem with loose ends is nobody ever wants to do their loose ends. But I tell you, you get your loose ends done, you know, life just sort of fits into place. Now, if I can get my mom to make me a plate of spaghetti tonight, things will be great. Now he's all mean and green. They call me Big Green. And that was the whole, so in The Unwelcome, though, Brian just being in the movie was the whole reason I watched it. Basically because, you know, I mean, he's a pretty decent actor in anything that he does. And he literally carries that film because I don't like the two primary protagonists in the movie. I don't like the man. I damn sure don't like the woman. I don't care enough about them, but that O'Brien guy playing the the Irish white trash dad, that made me keep watching. He carries that movie on his shoulders. Can't just keep infinitely Googling things. A little too green, little too green. I don't want my orc to look like a lime. There we go. The Exorcist 3 with George C. Scott, amazing. A really good film. Really, really, really good film. Yeah, just, God, you know, you ever watch The Changeling? I could watch that tonight too, you know. I mean, the problem is that I have my old haunts when it comes to monster movies, and The Changeling is definitely the one that I could watch again and again and again. And that scene with the wheelchair coming to the top of the staircase, scary. Ooh, I got chills right now. Scary every single time. I believe George C. Scott won Academy Award for Best Actor twice or three times, and he never accepted the award. He never accepted the award. Brad Dourif, of course, if you know anything about the channel, you know that Death Be Not Proud, that's from The Exorcist 3. That's a sonnet. Death be not proud, though some have called him mighty and dreadful, thou art not so. Yeah, that's from, you know, there's a lot of horror movie references in the channel if you just look around, you know. Not to mention influences to heavy metal and everything, you know. Like when I do my reviews, I have Slayer pit totals, not what do you call it? Joe Bob totals. All right, he's got his skin. I'll highlight his leather, but let's get to the bullets. I do like this one. It just sucks that the old orcs are all hunched over. Like I said, I'm just using this one as a placeholder because the orc that I gotta use, let's face it, I'm not gonna repair him anytime soon. He's in a baggie somewhere, and if I want to find that baggie, I literally have to put on a miner's hat and go on an adventure. Does Brad Dourif have an acting clinic? Now, that guy's an American treasure. One of the great American actors, Brad Dourif. I give it to him. He has done so much, you know. I mean, like, him is, you know, you would usually expect that guy who played the Sheriff of Nottingham to be Grima Wormtongue, you know, but, like, Brad Dourif as Grima Wormtongue, that's usually a British role. And he just snatches that role away from a bunch of English actors. Oh no, who got the part? Brad Dourif? Well, who the hell is that? And then they say, well, let's see what the movie was in. He was in The Graveyard Shift. The Graveyard Shift? What's The Graveyard Shift? Brad Dourif in The Graveyard Shift. I loved his character as the exterminator, sitting there, you know, just all kind of a bit of a tweaker. Yeah, he's a really good character actor. Legend, absolute legend. I want to hurry up and paint the bullets on this guy because that can get a little messy. All right, if I leave screen, I can actually maybe get this done. Just this one part of it. And I wish I could have snapped this guy in half to paint him. Most annoying part. But I got a light now, it kind of helps. You just need to really cover the gold enough so that you can see it all the way down, you know. It's never going to be perfect. I mean, because the highlight is actually that strap that runs down. Wanted to make sure that my big face wasn't getting into the main camera. I don't think anybody wants to see me that close. That close up. All right. I could have sworn I drilled a hole in that. Even then, you still miss, huh? Really? Not that it matters. All right, we highlight the leather. We'll do a little bit of the bandolier. And he's done. And we at least got one figure done today. I guess I could take credit for more than one, but you know, when you finish things steadily throughout the week, it's just, you know, like I came down, finished the war boss, came down, finished the gunner in the truck, came down, finished all four of the boys. There was at least 1 to 2 models being painted every single day this week except last night, and I don't think I painted Wednesday. I might have painted Wednesday. I might have even I think I did. I did. Yeah, every single day except last night. There you go. I did a review a couple years ago, Coronite. It's on the channel. It's on this channel, Holy Diver Proper. Halloween 4. Halloween 4 is probably my favorite within the series. I just really like the God, what is his name? Who plays Dr. Loomis? Oh God, I'm forgetting everybody's name today. I am forgetting everybody's name today when it comes to that. Halloween 4. You gonna go?
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers is a 1988 movie.
Donald Pleasence.
Starring Danielle Harris.
Can't even remember Donald Pleasence's name. I just really like his character. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasence. His character in 4 is just... It's on point. It's everything that Halloween should be. He's not beyond the pale crazy like he was in Halloween 1 or 2. They brought back Donald Pleasence all the way up till Halloween 6. They cool fun fact about Halloween 4 is they filmed number 4 through number 6 in Utah. And they had to figure out ways. Now, if you look in reflections of if you look in certain scenes, reflections of windows, in 4 and 5, you might see the Wasatch Front Mountains and everything. But you got to give it to their director of photography in that one, because you do not see the mountains at all. And then by what do you call it? Halloween 6, they weren't even trying to hide it at all. They shot scenes at the University of Utah and everything, and that's not what Chicago looks like, you know. So it's like they didn't have a director of photography in the 6th one at all. Oh. Now what I'm going to do here is this bandolier strap. It's just one stupid orc and I can't get him done. And this is why you take care of loose ends, because I am going to do the last 3 Beastmen, this sprue of Macedonians. I am going to do all that stuff. I mean, it's been too long. It's got to get done. Good enough. Good enough. What's up, DM James? You missed all the fun. You missed all the fun, boss. I'm just about to finish an orc here. I'm just putting the finishing touches on him now. He's about to go to the wash phase, and then I'll put the what do you call it, paint on his ass. The texture paint. Well, that does it. Yeah, way better. Why didn't I do that before? I did not set up the camera very well. I thought I got organized. I got to figure something out. Because if I put the phone there, so I got to be kind of like right here. I don't know. I can't figure it out today. High drag, low speed. Yeah. All right. I've got a plan for next week. The cellar. See, I might just. I want to thank Rafe. I just might. I think the moment I'm done, I'm going to look up the Cellar Club with Carolyn Monroe. You know. Awesome that she hosts horror movies. I wish she'd be on an episode of Joe Bob Briggs' The Last Drive-In. He has yet to host even a single Hammer film. Now that's a crime against humanity. At least do Dracula Has Risen from His Grave. Oh, come on, really? I had a little bit of metallic out and it already dried. Forever and a day cleaning the lines up. Just little subtleties right there. Okay. He needs a little bit of, he needs a green thumb, a greener thumb. All right, we got an orc now. There he is, all ready for battle. Nothing special. He's just, he's just a placeholder. I don't know who's going to be the mech of that unit. The other guy has the what do you call it? The blasty weapon. But he's in like 6 different pieces. I got to go shopping today. I've done all my food prep. I've made 2 of my salads for the week. But I gotta get some strong tone. I gotta get some vomit brown. Like, I'm not even putting another layer of red on this guy's shirt. That's how fast I'm doing him up. I'm not even going to bother highlighting his skin. It's all getting the strong tone. Because, again, he's a loose end. And I think when you have a model that you don't really particularly want to paint, but paint, that kind of clears your mind. It's like a palate cleanser for your mind, and then you're able to get other things done. So I might just work on Let's face it. The moment I turn the camera off, I'm gonna go see about this Cellar Club show, and then I'm gonna paint my Rucka Truck squig buggies. Nah, I'm gonna finish those Macedonians. I got a lot of crap I gotta get done, especially with the release of the Old World becoming an actual thing. So for my Bretonians, I have decided on dark London gray with yellow. Those are the colors. I'm going to do dark London gray and yellow. And I'm going to do decal work if they come out with decals, which I think they will. All right, hell yeah. This will be one of the better ones. I worked on the Rucka Truck a little bit. You know, so basically I've done all the inking. I was thinking about it this morning, what I was actually going to paint up and everything. Excuse me for a sec here. All right, one orc bites the dust. And just like I did all the ink and everything, like purple squigs. It's got like a big old jar of squigs in there. And unlike the last one that took me, I think I worked on it for like 4 streams. Yeah, I don't blame you. As soon as I'm done, I'm going for the old man nap myself. You know, just this model assembled, extremely hard to paint, but you know, the way I got it set up now, put this old boy right there. Boom. Steering wheel. Oh, as long as his feet line up. Okay. He's got his little buddy up here. Kind of chilling, hanging out. And then you got this guy. Where does he stand? Oh, he goes right there. And then he goes over there. Boom. And so, yeah, that's way more usable when you do it like this as a component, because this doesn't have a lot of detail to it. You know, this whole other sections, that's going to be leather or black, going to be just metal, metallic, maybe a little bit of yellow somewhere. Maybe the orc faces will be yellow. You know, but that's basically the long and the short of it. You know, just way easier than the last one because I don't have to frickin' paint it up as one model. Luckily, I had this guy off, and I think this guy was off, but everything else I had to paint up as one model. It did not turn out very well. As a matter of fact, I think this guy can kind of sit here like that. Yeah, just resting up right there, thinking to himself. Or even better, just like that. I don't know. Well, I'd have to say that's about it for me, gentlemen. It's we're coming up on the 2-hour mark anyway. Let's get over and do our promotional considerations. All right, as you know, promotional consideration paid for by John K., Andrew C., Lady Quickblood, 35, Moonbad, Bobbis D., Craig B., Jimmy M., Dracwizza, James C., Macy J., Tipsy Thomas, James B., Wallach, Jason G., Michael W., Christian M., Cornite Care Bear, Olinius Pius, Road Dog, King Assault, Soul Blighter, Sage MC, and P. Pasquale. Tippers, AfterDarkPrince.net, CelticMiniatures.com, and Randy the Axeman. As you know, you can go into the description and go over to AfterDarkPrince.net and CelticMiniatures.net and check out their stores and their socials on Instagram. But that's pretty much by and large it for today. Anyway, as you know, YouTube has many features you can use to interact with me. You can like the video, dislike the video, comment, and subscribe. If you want to get in touch with me, you can always use Instagram. If you want to support the channel, go over to Rumble and subscribe over there. Link in the description below. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. And until I see you again, keep painting, keep playing, and stay metal, my friends. Thank you.